morning, everybody, and welcome to The Art as Well. This is your weekly source of inspiration and connection with artists throughout Ireland and indeed beyond. I'm just delighted this morning to have our 100th guest on the Art as Well. David, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Alan. Good morning, everybody. In honor of being awarded the 100th cap, Alan, you should put one of these on.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have one similar to yours, but I have this.
Well, there you go. Your 100th cap. And now, Alan, we've joined the pantheon of great Irish people like Johnny Sexton and Keith Earls and Cian Healy and Peter O'Mahony and Brian O'Driscoll. So we're centurions, Alan.
Methinks you're on the wrong programme.
I don't think I am on the right programme. I'm on the rugby channel.
Exactly, yeah. Anyway, listen, you're very, very welcome. David and I know each other from the Arts Club, which I joined a couple of years ago. But David is actually a long-standing member of the club, going back to the early 80s, I think, with a few breaks where you kind of moved to another country or so, if I recall from our conversation. But anyway, listen, you're most welcome, David. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And can we start by sort of asking, what was the first, what would you call it, time that you discovered that you had an interest in art?
I can remember now when I was very, very young. The house was the original shape and everything. My father brought me a large green-backed, hard-backed pad of paper. And I used to sit in front of the fire and I used to scribble and draw and did all the things that kids do. I must have been 4 or 5, I don't know. And kids draw the house with the moon and the garden gate, and then they draw people and the legs go up the page instead of, Yes. I think I did all of that. I filled loads of those. I just scribbled and drew and drew and drew. And then my mother decided to get me some paints, probably poster paints. And I started painting very peculiar things, heads in a line, single line. Anyway, from that I went on a bit further, and she then bought me a box of oil paints. And having bought me a box of oil paints in Guy's shop in Patrick Street, she then decided that I really should have a few lessons. So she arranged for me to go and paint with a woman who lived about 1.5 miles down the road on the Rochestown Road in Cork, going towards Passage West. Her name was Maud Bennett, and Maud was an Australian, came from Melbourne, and she went from Melbourne to London during the war, and then she came to Cork after the war. Her husband died. She had one son. She came to Cork and she bought this huge house on an island. When I say an island, it really is, it's a tiny little blot of an island in the estuary of the River Lee. And it's joined to the road by a little causeway, which floods at high tide every day. She bought the house from the Fleischmann family, who really were associated with us going back almost 100 years now. And I went down there every Saturday afternoon. Somebody drove me down, and I painted in the house. She had this enormous living room. It was wonderful, absolute. I'd love to go and paint there now. It was wonderful fun. It was a piano that was broken, windows that were broken, furniture that was broken. She had no money, and she had this huge house that she couldn't maintain. Would have cost a bundle. And she just set me up, and we started to paint. And she just let me at it. And she encouraged me and gave me more and more and more encouragement. We didn't do anything like tone and values. We didn't worry too much about drawing. I could draw reasonably well. I could do still life. And we painted lots of still life and things. And it was just such a joy. It was something I looked forward to every week. Saturday afternoon on the island with Maud. And God, what the enthusiasm, the excitement. And she always made tea in the afternoon, and then she'd show me books of paintings. She gave me a book on Gauguin. She lit a fire in my belly, I tell you. that no matter how much water I poured down that belly, I never succeeded in quenching it. I tried and tried
Yeah.
and tried. I put a fire hose down my belly, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But what's extraordinary about that is the fact that she didn't really teach you, as you say. You know, she just encouraged you, and
Yeah.
you know, I think that's wonderful.
She was so encouraging. It was
Yeah.
just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember it. I mean, I still remember it. I remember everything. And
Mm.
I could go back there now in my head and I could still talk to her and see her. And the island, it was just lovely. There was the house was quite big, an old Huguenot house. It was 200 years old.
Mm.
The hallway was as big as the housing estate today.
Mm-hmm.
And beside the house, there was a little passageway. It went under a bosque of trees like that. And you had to bend down to get through it. And when you got through the bosque of trees, you came onto a clearing which went downhill onto a low clearing on the back of the island. And there was an old Martello tower there. I used to go down on holidays during the summer. I'd ride my bicycle down there. It was fabulous. I'd lie in the grass and pick grass and chew it through my teeth. What a fabulous place.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
What a lovely childhood.
Yeah.
Very
My
good.
childhood was great.
And how long did that continue that relationship?
That continued until I was 16, and then I went to when I was 17. When I was 16, I went to Dublin to finish school.
Mm-hmm.
I was educated at the Christian Brothers, and my mother and father decided, well, I wasn't learning very much. Didn't do any languages, by the way, except Irish and Latin. And I didn't learn Irish, and I didn't learn Latin. So it was poor enough. So I went to a finishing school. It was a crammer in Dublin, mm-hmm. And that's where I finished school.
Okay.
Then I was sent off to King's Inns to study law.
But not before you announced to your father that you were going to be an artist.
Oh, well, we had a conversation one day. My father was a formidable man. He was very controlling, very powerful. He was big physically. He was enormous mentally, and he didn't really accept any contradictions. So he said to me one day when I was 17, I think, he said, he folded his arms out. He was an austere sort of powerful man. He said, "David, what do you want to do when you finish school?" And I said, "Paint, Dad." And he said, he repeated the question. He said, "David, what do you want to do when you finish school?" And I said, "Paint." He said, "Well, you can't. Look at your Uncle Sidney. He hadn't a bob to his name. Had to be supported by his father. How would you eat?" Anyway, I lost that argument, and he wanted me to become a solicitor. That's what he was. Mm-hmm. And he was a very brilliant solicitor. And I knew from experience of others that I'd never be able to work with him in the office. Nobody could work with him. Hmm. He was a man who decided that he was the only one who knew how to do anything in law. He was the best beyond any doubt. He probably was. I think he was. He was very brilliant, but very difficult to work with. He couldn't delegate, and he couldn't trust anyone else to do anything as well as he could do it. Hmm. So I said, well, if I have to do law, I will do the bar rather than solicitors.
Right. But did your brother become a lawyer?
My brother became a solicitor.
Solicitor, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he went into the practice. And he couldn't work with my father either. Hmm. And he went to America, and he married a New York girl. They came back. The idea was that he would go into the practice. He would ultimately succeed Gerald. But he went into the practice and it just didn't work out. So he went back to America. He never came back.
And didn't your father have political ambitions as well?
Yes, but that came later. I mean, that came later. He went into politics. He became Lord Mayor of Cork in 1977. And we'll be talking about that next Tuesday in the City Hall in Cork when I launch my book about him. Yeah. So that's.
Well, I'm just going to do this actually. Hang on. There.
Yeah. So that's the book. Just printed. It'll be launched next Tuesday in Cork, and then a few other launches after that.
Yeah.
But
you're launching in the Arts Club as well?
Yes, launching the Arts Club on the 1st of November, Wednesday, the 1st of November at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And Catherine is launching the book for me in the Jewish Museum on the 5th of November, I think it is, Sunday the 5th. Yeah.
Yes. Very good.
So yeah, he went into politics, yes, as an independent, and then he wanted to be Lord Mayor, and he couldn't get He couldn't get enough votes to be elected because the two parties had it sewn up between them, and they exchanged Lord Mayoralty every other year.
Yeah.
So he became Lord Mayor when he joined Fianna Fáil in 1975, I think. And the idea of that was that the Fianna Fáil would put him forward for Lord Mayoralty, which they did, and he was Lord Mayor. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great achievement.
Let's go back a little bit then.
Yeah.
So when you went to the King's Inns,
yeah,
was that the end of your painting career at that stage?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you've got, if you can think of two things that are more incompatible, it'd be hard to find: law and painting. It just doesn't work. I paint like a lawyer, and I practice law like an artist.
Yes.
I kept getting it wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's why you chose the path of being a barrister as against a solicitor.
Yeah, well, I quite like speaking. I mean, that's something I enjoy. But I could paint sometimes at the weekends. I did pastel drawings and things. I tried to keep it going, but it's very, very hard. It's very hard to keep it going.
I know.
So I studied anyway. I qualified. I went to America for 3 months. I traveled all over America on Greyhound buses. And then I came back and I went into practice. Now, that was the time when I really should have taken off and just gone off, follow the easel somewhere. But I didn't. Anyway, I went into practice. Carla and I married in 1970.
Yeah.
We had Trudy in 1973. And then I just couldn't stand it any longer. I had to go and paint. I really, the old fire in the belly flared up again,
Yes, yeah.
No amount of posing would stop it.
Sure.
I went off, we quit, and we went down to Spain, and we lived in Spain for 6 months. That was great. But again, I didn't work with anybody. But we traveled. Carla was practicing medicine in Canada. She did a locum in Canada. Had a very bad car crash there. Turned the car head over heels down an embankment and broke my neck. Yeah. We went to the West Indies as well. Stayed for a while there. But we came back to Ireland, and Carla took up some medical posts in Crumlin Hospital for Children.
Yes.
I think that I may be confused about the dates here, but at one stage anyway, I wanted to go to France to paint. My mother phoned her brother Sidney, and he said, "Well, don't send him to Paris because that's no good anymore." That was fine in the 1900s, but so he sent me to a guy called Peter Gerald in London, who was the head of Byamshaw School. I went over to meet Peter, a delightful man. He became a kind of alter ego or father figure to me. He offered me a place in Byamshaw, which I wanted to take up. And again, I was persuaded not to do it. But I remained in contact with Peter for a very long time, over 10 years more. I did workshops with him in Ireland and Malta and in England. And I used to go over about 3 times a year with a big bundle of pictures under my arm and a couple of bottles of whiskey. He liked Irish whiskey. And we went up to a studio and we would have a session. God, he could drink whiskey, I tell you. Then he'd get into the car and drive me home after it, which that wasn't so funny.
Yeah, but them were the days.
No, it was great. I mean, it was wonderful. And the problem with all of that, whilst it was all wonderful, I couldn't hold that information. Yeah, that was the problem. So I'd slide back into that area of lack of understanding of painting, lack of knowledge. And I go back and talk to him again and again and again. And, gradually it progressed. So it got better. But it was a hard way of doing it. And then I left the bar for about a long time. I can't remember how long, but quite a long time. And we went walkabout. That's when we went walkabout. And then I came back and I had a studio in Mary's Abbey, struggled in there, and then went and did some more workshops. I used to go and see Tom Ryan with a bundle of pictures, and Tom was fun. He'd say, "It's very nice, but I cut it. Tom was a great man for editing. He'd just say, cut it. I cut it here. I cut it there. And he'd draw lines on the canvas with charcoal. And he was right. Tom was right about editing. We don't have editors as painters. I'm fortunate that I have an editor. She's online today.
Yes. Yeah. But in words and not paint.
Yeah, but you need it. I think an artist needs an editor. As a writer, writing the book, I had an editor all the way through.
So David, just as a matter of interest, was when you say Tom Ryan was telling you to cut it, was he really talking about composition?
Yes. Yeah. And he was talking about scale and composition. But he say to you, all artists fall in love with the shape of their canvas, which is true. They do, and they don't cut their canvas to the composition that they wanted to paint, that they need to paint. So he did all that. Yeah. And I worked with Jeff Reed, an American painter, beautiful painter, in Mayo. I did a couple of weeks with him. I did workshops then in Wexford with Anton Passimar and his wife Anastasia Dukanina, Russian painter, and other people. I enjoy doing a workshop. I'm doing one at the moment with Freed Higgins, Nick and Ada, which is great fun. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
That's
in the Dean, is it?
Yeah. No, it's not in the Dean. It's in the
not? Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah.
I've done workshops with Nick Robinson as well. I don't know if Nick is online. He said he would be.
Did he? Yeah.
I went painting with Colin Watson. Colin is silently watching. Hi, Colin.
I see it there. Yes.
Yeah. And Colin and I are very good friends. Colin took me down to Morocco about 2019, I think it was, 2017. I had one of the great weeks of my life was painting with Colin in Morocco. It was so exciting. First of all, we went to Marrakesh, which is a great city, recommended to anyone.
Yeah.
And then we went up to a little hamlet in the foothills of the Atlas Mountains. That was gorgeous, pure, absolute beauty. And then we took a drive right through the Atlas Mountains. That was an amazing drive. Lasted about 6 hours on very poor roads. They've changed the roads now. But to see the Atlas Mountains inside, it was just incredible. Yes. A wonderful, wonderful landscape. Then we came out into the desert. And we went left and we went down to Eit Ben Khadou, and stopped there for a while. And then one day we went further down to Tellawet. Gorgeous. I mean, you can't believe how exciting the desert is. It's absolutely a revelation to me.
And you have paintings that we're going to see later on. And you also had a joint exhibition in Morocco, didn't you?
Yes, Colin and I had an exhibition. Well, Colin's entirely responsible for that. He was invited to do an exhibition in Morocco, and he wasn't able to do a whole exhibition. He said, I'll get some other Irish artists to join me. So he phoned me up. He said, would you like to exhibit in Morocco? Oh, I said, would I what? And he asked another guy from Belfast, and the other guy dropped out. So anyway, if you can see that, you probably can't see that, but that's the cover of the exhibition. They did a fabulous catalogue. But what I like is that.
Yes.
I love that because the name's in Arabic.
Yeah.
When would you find my name in Arabic anywhere?
Very good. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
So, but let's go back a wee bit, because you had this sort of 10-year gap in your practice as a barrister.
Yeah.
And then around 1999 or so, you came back. You took silk.
I
So you
did.
became senior counsel, and I mean, you were sort of flying all around the place, all over Ireland.
Oh God, yes. I mean,
For 20 years before you retired.
yeah. When I took silk, I really took silk because I was going up and down the train to Cork every week, and I got really tired and bored of it because I wasn't getting much work out of Cork. Well, there was a reason for that. And I got a break. Somebody asked me to go down to the Midlands to do a trial, and I went down and I just cemented a relationship with one of my colleagues, and he was quite busy. And when he got briefs which had a certificate for senior counsel, he called me, and I got work from through other barristers and solicitors down there. And then I was brought down to Limerick, and then I was brought to Sligo, Donegal, Tralee, Waterford, Clonmel, Wexford.
And David, did you specialize? Did you find you fell into a sort of a specialization within your practice?
Yeah, I fell into criminal law pretty much by accident. I think most of these things happen by accident. And I enjoyed criminal law more than any other kind of law, and I did a lot of trials. And the thing I liked about trials was the jury. I liked a jury. I liked playing to a jury, and I was able to do it. That was nice. I enjoyed that. I won cases I should have lost, and I lost cases I should have won. Yeah, the old story.
And does anything stand out in your mind as a particularly interesting or, strange sort of case that you're involved in that stays in your memory?
There's a few. But I mean, the funniest place of all was to practice in Donegal. I don't know anybody is online who's from Donegal.
It's no excuse, David. Just tell it anyway. Tell it anyway.
I might be offending some Donegal people now, but
exactly.
I have to be careful. I have to be very careful. Donegal, the people are completely mad. They really are. They have a language all their own. And I was cross-examining somebody one day, and it says something like, what happened? He says, he took me up the brae. I said, what? He took me up the brae. And somebody had to interpret for me. So he took me up the hill. And what happened then? I was wicked. He was what? He was wicked. So what's wicked? He's angry. Wicked is angry.
Ah, yes.
He was angry. There he was wicked. Anyway, Donegal was wonderful. I loved going up there. And then when I wasn't too busy, I'd get in the car and go off and have a look around, going up to Glenveigh Park and so on. It was great. It was great. And the solicitors were fun. They were wild. Solicitors were wild.
So after about what, 20 years?
Yeah, 20 years of practicing.
You retired.
Retired.
And that was about 10 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I couldn't hear. See, I'm quite deaf. And I couldn't hear at the time. I could be sitting as close as I am to you, theoretically, and I couldn't hear. So I had to retire, really, and I couldn't remember the evidence anymore. And you have to be able to remember the evidence.
Yes.
You must be able to remember the evidence.
Yeah.
You have to remember what everybody said. That's essential to be a good barrister. And you have to be able to find the law and find it quickly on your feet. Yeah. So I retired, and I'm quite happy.
Sure. So you've devoted your life to art ever since?
Yeah. We traveled a bit. We've been to South Africa, Mexico, United States several times. My daughter lives in the United States.
Yes.
We've had wonderful journeys. We went over to Russia. Well, we went to Petersburg about 25 years ago. Yeah. That's a great city. Absolutely wonderful. And then about 4 years ago, we went to Moscow. We were hosted wonderfully by Natasha and Elena. Took us around to see the sights of Moscow. It's a great city, wonderful city. Yeah. So I've been around a lot. I've been up and down to Europe every other year. I mean, every year, in fact, for years and years. Spain, Italy, Greece. Yeah. All fabulous places. Yeah.
Wonderful. And your studio there, David, is that sort of purpose built? Was it for you?
No, when we ran out of. We lived in an apartment. We ran out of space because we bought books, and the books were stacked in corners around of the living room. And then the book started a trail, like a big X, going this way. So we were standing over books and hopping over books. There was nowhere to put them.
Yes.
So and it was at the height of the boom when people were moving houses. Oh, I said to Carl, let's go and look at houses. We went around looking at houses with no intentions of buying, not enough money to buy. Anyway, we came upon this house and had a look at it. And the people who bought it, they didn't design the bedroom properly, so they had no wardrobe in it. They had a big thing around the bed. It was mad. And they had a narrow stairs and up to an attic. So I went up the stairs, had a look around. I saw, this is quite a nice space. And they had one of these hanging basket things for their clothes, a hanging wardrobe. Well, it was partly boarded out. And I looked at it and I thought, this is quite a large space, be a lovely studio, be a lovely bedroom, in fact. So we bought the house, and I converted this into a studio, and I put a bathroom in the other end of it. Yeah. Perfect,
because it's ideal. Can you give us a quick 360 of it?
Try.
You go and look at some of your work.
Yeah, I'm going to try this now.
Yeah, I know it's a bit awkward because you've got a laptop easy there, so you can't see what you're seeing.
Turn the
yeah.
There's stuff everywhere.
So just explain what we're looking at there.
Where's the picture? Where is it? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
We're looking at the table. I bought this table and needle with the idea that I could stretch canvases on it and save my back injury. But now look, I can't get a canvas roll on it. So it's absolutely packed. So that's the station, the painting station. Can you see that? Oh,
just raise it a bit. Yeah, there. Yeah, on the left, and your easel there on the right. Yeah. And David, what sort of materials do you use? Are you sort of precious about your materials and your brushes, or?
Yeah, I look after my brushes very well. I use. Well, Natasha gave me a present, and she came over here. I did an exhibition for Natasha and Elena. One of them brought me these brushes.
Oh, lovely.
These are Russian brushes. They're terrific.
Yeah.
And those are some Russian paintings by Anastasia, by Natasha.
Yeah.
That's by Natasha. And that's by Elena. I keep those in my studio because they're good for me.
Yes.
And then I have a music station here. This is a crawl space where there's a load of pictures in here. Stories in here.
Yeah, well, we can't really see that very well, David. So
I don't know how well you saw that.
Not very, because the signal went.
Oh, did it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. David, we're going to go straight in and have a look at some of your work. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll let you talk through these.
Yeah. I have to put my cap on for the 100th cap.
Oh, you do? Yes.
Definitely have to put the 100th cap on.
Yeah.
So I think about 1985, we were in the apartment, living in the apartment then. But Carla had an injury and she broke her collarbone, and she was in a bandage and lying on the couch for a long time. I thought that was a nice composition, worth having a go at it. So I had plenty of time to do it, and I put the plant in front, and that's quite a large picture.
Sorry, David, I beg your pardon. That was my mistake.
This is the kitchen window, and we put postcards up on the bar of the window. I think that hung on the Academy 1 year.
Sorry, say that again. I missed you.
I think that hung in the Academy once.
Yes.
Long time ago. Yeah, it's about 1985 as well.
Is it all right? Yes.
I still have it. Yeah. with the winter trees outside and all of that. Yeah, I like the composition.
Yes, it is very nice.
Yeah. So we were in America for a year. Carla did a year in Children's Hospital in Longwood Avenue. And there's a metro system called the T in Boston. There was a stop called Park Street, which is just at the God, what's it called? The pond in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And underneath was this quite large metro station. At the time, it had these arc lights and green pillars. Now it's all changed now. If you went down it's called Park Under. If you went to Park Under, you wouldn't recognize that at all. But
Right.
I went down with my easel, and I think I went down there on Sundays because it wasn't quite as busy as other days. And guys come up to me and say, "Gee, what are you painting? You're painting Park Under. You want a coffee? You want a donut?"
Yeah.
So I did that, and I did a series of paintings of Park Under. These are two. Would I get my own picture out of there? How do I get this out? I can't. Okay, I'm going to move myself out of there. So the picture on the right, it was such a busy place. The one on the right is Park Under with the circus. I can't remember if a circus actually came through or not, or whether I just decided to put a circus in. This guy singing, busking, they were all over, everywhere. They were on all the stations. So I put this guy in, singing his songs. This circus performer, the pillar on the left, a guy leaning up against it, and then a family coming into picture on the right. So it really is a kind of an idea of the chaos that goes on underground in the station. The picture on the left was an idea that I had of 3 stages of a woman, the young girl, the middle-aged woman with the flat shoes and the nice suit, and then the old lady sitting on the right-hand side, or my right-hand side. So that was the idea of that picture.
Yes.
And set in Park Under. Yeah. Next. Carla got her doctoral degree from UCD in about 1992, 93. And she asked me to paint her portrait. And I was very honored that she wanted her portrait painted in robes. So I did that over a period of time. And I decided the background was originally, an interior space, a wall or something. I just decided I did not like that. It wasn't working for me. So I decided I'd put her sitting at the edge of a pond. So I put in all that water behind her.
It's lovely.
No.
Yeah.
And the Rembrandt hat. Yeah. Yes. You and I should have one of those.
We really should. We really should. That was very remiss.
Yeah, I think very remiss of us.
Okay.
So in the 1980s, I had a studio in Mary's Abbey, but I sublet it. And I went off to the graphic studio down at Rings End. And I made etchings for 10 years. This is one of the etchings that I made. It's the only one I have photographed. I have a whole portfolio of etchings in the studio. But this one was of a place down in Mayo that we used to visit a lot. Yeah. That's 3 plates or 2 plates. I can't remember now.
Yes.
But complicated stuff, I couldn't do an etching now.
Yeah. Did you do a lot of work in the graphic studio?
I did, yeah. But his etching was very, very slow. I mean, it took me 6 months to make 1 plate or to make 1 print. Yeah. But making the plates, one thing. But then you've got to work out the color and you've got to ink it up and you've got to put it in the press. You got the paper right, you got the registration and all that jazz. And you got to be strong enough to grind the presses.
Yes.
It's very hard work.
Yeah, sure.
Well, this is part of the trip to Morocco with Colin. The picture on the right is entering the souk. Souk is a fabulous place. It's a massive body of people and business and bustle, hustle, bustle, everything. It was a terrific place. I painted this one. I don't know if I painted it there or here. I can't remember. The one on the left is a gorgeous place. It's in the middle of the souk, and it's called Le Jardin Secret. I did a couple of versions of this, and it was a garden in the middle of the souk, a very beautiful garden. And in the middle of the garden was this canopy. It was quite big, with this fountain and tiled floor. And it was just a place of real cool, you know?
Yes, you can really feel it, can't you, from that, yeah.
It's very hot. I mean, Morocco is incredibly hot.
Sure.
If you want heat, Morocco. Yeah. So it was a place where you can just go and sit and cool. And the water in the fountain, of course, helps as well. That balcony that you see at the back of the picture, it's actually a restaurant. I didn't go up there, but it is.
Yeah. And did you exhibit these in your... Sorry, David. Did you exhibit these in your exhibition with Colin?
I did. That one is in the exhibition. That one was in the exhibition, or another version of it, rather. Another version of it.
All right.
Yeah. So these are two paintings of flowers. I paint a lot of flowers.
And these were done during COVID, weren't they?
Started what, 2019, March 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That's when our exhibition in Morocco was supposed to be. We were about to board planes, and then the country closed down.
Yeah.
I used to go for a walk every morning around the ward. The ward is about, well, I walked about 6,000 steps. It's all concrete jungle and houses, nothing interesting at all. But I looked at the gardens, and the gardens were interesting. Sometimes you'd find berry bushes and other flowers and plants growing in the garden. But these are from our garden. The left are from forget-me-nots, and the one on the right are aqualigia. And I put them out. The weather was very good between March and July. Beautiful. Yeah. It was very. So I got a cardboard box, which was just white, had a white bottom on it. I turned the box so that it had the bottom up, and I put the plants on it. And what I was interested in was the way the sun was moving around the flower and the pot. And I was getting these shadows, and I was interested in the shadows on the flowers. So this is shadow. This is aqualigia and shadow. And there's several others of these.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never been shown. Nowhere to show them.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Now, last year, my grandson came to stay with us, my daughter. This is Gerald. He's now 6'3" and a huge guy. And I said to him, Jerry, would you sit for me? I would like to do a sketch of you, something I really like to have. And he said, sure. You sit down, what are you going to do? Huh? So I sat down and sat him up here in the big chair behind me. I painted him. I only had about 50 minutes to do it.
Yes.
But I didn't touch it after that. It was fresh and it was nice. Yeah, I left it.
I really like that one. I think it's a wonderful expression.
Yeah, he has this fabulous hair.
Yeah.
More flowers, but these are very recent. The painting on the left is Buddleia, I think. So I just popped that into a jar. I think we have it in the garden as well.
Yes.
I put it in a jar and set it up and just painted it and worked on that for a while. And the one on the right is a painting of Japanese who fences. And that's just a pumpkin like that.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes.
But it's not as I didn't paint it as orange as that, or as red.
Probably matured.
So no, it's better that color. So that two fences, just a little still life, but I worked on that for a while. I think that's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we also had growing in the front of the house a big tree.
Sorry, David. Sorry.
Tree of Philadelphia. It's very beautiful. It's orange blossom. I just love it. It grows in June. It flowers in June. And I did about 6 or 7 of these paintings with different things, strawberries and blueberries, and with no fruit at all. And that's just an example of Philadelphia with cherries. I'm happy with that.
Beautiful. I think, did you exhibit that in the Arts Club?
Yeah.
I
all of those pictures in the Arts Club.
Or were they?
Those pictures, yeah.
All right, okay.
Well, we made a visit to Jerusalem in about 2014. I was painting for an exhibition which I was invited to do in London, in a private place. I thought some Jerusalem pictures would be interesting. Inside the Jaffa Gate in the old city, which is probably the most prominent gate of all, there are 4 gates in the old city. I was in. You can see the Golden Dome from everywhere. It's fabulous, great landmark. I wanted to know how to paint it, so I saw there was a hostel just inside the gate, and I went in and I said, "Can I paint from here?" He said, "You can go up on the roof. It's free." So I went up on the roof, but I was actually too high up. And I said to the guy, "I'm too high up. Can I come down a floor?" He said, "Yeah, you can paint from here." So I was on the first floor and I painted through these windows. I like the way the dome is framed by the window. I did other versions of it as well. That's one I like. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Still. And then we went to South Africa. We've been to South Africa a number of times. That's a great country. Hot, luscious, beautiful, wonderful climate. But on one of our visits, we went up to the northeast direction of the Drakensberg Mountains. And they're stunning, absolutely stunning. Curtain of mountain that runs for 300 miles. But we stayed on a safari estate, and I just looked out over the Nabiti Plateau. I thought, this is hot. I said, how do I paint hot? And that's what I wanted to express, was just hot, heat.
Yes. Yeah, you can see the haze almost. Yes.
Really, really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this is back in Dublin. It's Wicklow, actually. It's a little chunk of
Blessington?
No. A message from Natasha. No, it's not watercolor, Nat. It's either, or I think it's oil. It's oil. It might be casein, but I don't know. I don't think so. That's Blessington Lake. And I did that. I think I did that with Natasha when she was here. We went out and painted together. All right. But I like that darkness of that lake. And it's just the very end of the lake. Yeah. Just a corner. Yeah.
Okay. Just two others we would show.
Yeah, so this is a painting of Morocco, in fact. It's actually Morocco. But it's a composite. It's not any particular specific landscape, but it's a composite which was painted around Eid Ben Khadou. I don't know whether I put the palm tree in. I don't know whether it was there or not. I certainly put all the stones in. This picture took about 3 years to paint. It was really difficult to resolve. So sometime earlier this year, I got a phone call from someone, and I was asked, would I like to take part in a 3-faith exhibition in Cork called Connecting Through Art? A nice idea. Christian, Jews, Muslims. And I said, yes. I said, actually, I think I have a painting for you. And I sent down that picture, an image of that picture, and it was fine. So then I had a bit of time, and I said, well, I'll paint something else for them. And I got interested in the idea of crossing the Red Sea, or crossing the Sea of Reeds, as it's called. And the next image is the painting of crossing the Sea of Reeds. And I did two versions of this. One, this is crossing the Red Sea during the day, and the other crossing the Red Sea at night. Now, I got the idea, you know the story very well, of how the Hebrews were leaving Egypt. They were being pursued by Pharaoh's army. They came to the waters, and suddenly God parts the water into two great, huge walls held back by wind or whatever, by magic. And a pathway opens up, and they go through. They go through, and then as the Egyptian army are just pursuing them, the water closes over them again.
Yes.
Now, that's a lovely story for children. Yeah. It's got to be a lot of fairy tale. But crossing the Red Sea gave me the idea, having been in Morocco, when I was there, it was September, I think, late September, early October. And there was little or no water in the rivers. They were pretty dry. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you could walk across. You didn't have to have magic. You could actually walk across.
Oh, really? Can you? Yes, yes. Yeah.
Much, I think pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
You might a bit wet, but I pretty much walk across. So then, of course, when you cross the river, well, what do you see? Well, there's a pillar of cloud and there's a pillar of smoke, pillar of fire. So they came into the picture. And then this line of people just crossing and crossing and crossing. And then I just put in this other group of people on the right-hand side. Well, that woman actually just walked into the painting. I don't know where she came from. I didn't put her in. I think she just came in by herself.
Yes.
And then, so the other two, of course, different nationalities. The black, two children are black.
Yes.
That's my interpretation of crossing the Sea of Reeds.
Lovely. Okay.
It's all based in Morocco.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Very good. Okay, David, thanks for that. I'm just going to go through some of the questions because, as I mentioned, they're not obvious to people who are watching on YouTube. So, Tim Goulding says the most important tool in an artist's toolbox is the scissors.
Quite right, Tim.
Yeah. When you were, Desmond says, when you were in the graphic studio, I don't remember meeting you, perhaps before my time. Or when were you in the graphic studio? Can you recall the years?
1980s.
The 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Desmond has a number after his name. He doesn't have a second name. What's your second name?
No, I don't know. I don't actually know, unless Desmond wants to write it in.
Name in the chat if you want to.
Carol says, beautiful portrait. I just love the expression. It's kind of, do I have to sit here? Oh yeah, as in your grandchild. Your work is so painterly. Well done, David. Congratulations to you both in the 100th art as well. Thanks very much for that, Carol. Natalia says, is South African landscape in watercolor? Oh yeah, sorry, you addressed that, didn't you?
I don't think it is. I don't think it's certainly not watercolor.
Yeah. No, okay. All right.
I think it's oil. I can't remember. I'll have to look at it now and I'll tell you when I look at it. It's in the store.
Is it okay? Yeah. Tim says, wonderful natural painter, particularly like the, oops, sorry, just jumped, Aquilegia and Moroccan paintings. Have I pronounced that right?
Aquilegia is correct, yeah.
Yeah. Stephanie McLaughlin says, stunning work. Love the Jerusalem landscapes painted from the inside the room. Technically wonderful.
Yeah, well, there's two things to be said about traveling. There are many wonderful cities around the world. I've been in a lot of them. You know, St. Petersburg, Moscow, Rome, London,
yes,
Amsterdam, but the two that stand out for me more than anywhere else are Venice and Jerusalem. If you, as a painter, I'm not talking about the politics or living there or anything.
Yes.
Jerusalem's wonderful. It's full of little laneways and gorgeous things to paint. And the old city is utterly fabulous.
Desmond. I'm just
Kenny.
Yeah, Desmond Kenny. That's right.
Don't remember you, Des.
Okay. All right. Where are we? Right. I've allowed everyone to unmute themselves. So if anyone wants to ask a question or make a comment in person, please do so.
But don't all be shy.
But they tend to be initially.
Don't all be shy.
Hi, David.
James.
Hello, James. Hi.
Written a book about your father. Have you ever considered writing a book about yourself? You have a very interesting story.
James, it was hard enough to write a book about my parents. To write a book about me. What would I say? And all the secrets I'd have to reveal. That would be. I can't do that. I can't do that. Somebody else can do that.
There now. There's a job for you, James.
James,
the official biographer.
I don't have that skill.
Yeah.
I know.
You've got the job. You've got the job.
Modest
James
as usual.
Purcell will do it.
Yes, he might indeed. Yeah.
James, you write the biography.
We'll have to do it. Yeah. Okay. So look, if there aren't any other comments or questions, we'll wrap up for the day. It's after 11. So David, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it, and it was lovely seeing your work and hearing your stories and your travels and all of that. It's been fantastic.
Can I just answer the question you haven't asked, but you always ask?
Oh yes.
Who's your favorite painter?
Yes, I beg your pardon. Yes, do say.
Well, I just have a thing about the Russian painters. I think that they're absolutely, as a body of work from Ilya Repin onwards, they're just outstanding. They're unequaled by any nation of painters. Yeah, England's produced great painters like Sickert and Ken Hart, Fred Cumming and all. Colin Watson in America, all great. But the body of work from the Russians is just so incredible. From Repin to Levitan, Serov, Horovin, they're all great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And you've had some books there, I think, haven't you, that are
books by the dozen here. I've got books inscribed to me as well. These are little books by a guy called Bato.
Mm-hmm.
Bato is a wonderful, mad Russian painter, and that's signed. You wouldn't know. So that line is his signature. But yeah.
Have you an example of his work?
To move the computer now. I've got books here by the bucket load. All right. Just going to show you a couple of Levitan paintings.
Just one or two, David, because we're way over time.
Okay. Show you one Levitan.
Lift up. Yep.
Yeah,
yes. Beautiful. Yeah.
One of the great painters.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Listen again. Thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. Now, normally this is every second week, as you know, but next week is an exception in that next Saturday, I have Jessie Presley Jones, and so that's next Saturday. We're not waiting for 2 weeks. So until then, thank you all again for watching, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.